So how do you get that beautiful curved whimsical roof? What you need is a box that you can cut up, scissors, any type of tape you have in the house. Electrical tape could work, duct tape or scotch tape. And you'll want to get your lights ready. If you choose to put lights around the edge of your roof, you'll need to go to any craft store that are carrying these. These are battery operated. They're so fun. These are little snowflakes. I bought these. I've never tried these before. They're little trees. And I've also used this on the house I did last year. And these are battery operated as well, multicolored little lights that stick out. I need to pause the video and mention these, which are an electrical option. We've used these the longest, for 40 years. I only recently got into the cute little designs of battery operated pattern lights, but you can get this in a white strand, a mini strand of like 35 lights, and tape this around your roof as well. And this is great for those that don't want to worry about a battery and having to replace it or the battery running out. It's a great option. And one more thing I think is worth mentioning. I only mentioned scissors earlier. It is so nice to have one of these X-Acto knives that makes cutting cardboard, and especially that hole for your chimney, so much easier than scissors. So if you have one of these, use it. I'll show you how to do all that and how to tape it on your cardboard. Obviously this is not edible. It's the only non-edible part, but that's okay, because when the kids attack it, if you choose to let kids eat your gingerbread house after Christmas, they can just take off that roof and then attack the walls and the Jolly Rancher windows and all the candy. That's why I decorate so much candy on the exterior. And that's what they go for anyway. I love this type of roof because I like just to have that curved little flip at the end, and the icicles can dangle so well and beautifully with my snow recipe. Without further ado, let's get started, and I'll show you how to make and fold and prepare a piece of cardboard for your roof. The first thing you'll need to do is measure and cut your cardboard. I am erring on the side of being too large, these measurements I'm giving you. I'm not there to see how you assembled your pieces, so there really could be a wide range of variance. So it's better to go big, and you can always cut it down smaller when you kind of hang it and hover over your home and see that it's way too long or too wide for your home. But the medium house should roughly be about 15.5 inches long and 8.5 inches wide, and a large house 17 inches by 9.5 wide. Okay, I took my X-Acto knife and I'm starting to cut my measurements to the size. You can see I erred on the large size and made a couple lines. Doesn't matter your lines, it will all be covered up by snow frosting. After this, you'll see me kind of folding it over the counter edge. This is to start bending it. The cardboard has these long fibers in it, like ridges, and you want to break those down. And it does help to fold it in both directions and just start curving it to the shape of the roof. And then you saw that I drew a little circle after I started bending it to find the middle point. Then I put the chimney right off center towards the back. Now I take it and do a rough estimate over my house. Double check the chimney spot if it's where I want to be. Double check the sides, see if it's too long on the lengthwise or from front to back to see the width as it hangs over the house. I obviously didn't like something because I cut a little more off the house. And now I am ready for my lights because I have it the size I want it. And I counted my lights, my stand of lights, and I figured and did the math to know that I needed 8 lights on the long side, on each long side, and 4 on the width sides. And so I kind of evenly spaced out where I knew I had to tape those down. That's a lot easier than just guessing, because you'll usually end up messing up and cluster them all and run out of lights by the time you get to the back of your house.
But I'm going along and taking duct tape and taping down the little trees I chose to use around here, just double checking it works. And there's one thing that I would do again, as you see me just going around taping them down. I made an error. I would not do this again. I started in the middle. I don't know why I didn't think that through. The middle is the highest point of your home, of your roof. So the cord that hangs down to the heavy battery pack you're just bound to break icicles when you're moving it around. And it's just not a smart place to put it, or it dangles down right in front of your back windows. So put and start your strand of lights towards the rear back corner. That solves the problem. And you just watched me cut out the hole for the chimney. Don't forget to do that. I forgot to cut that out earlier when I was measuring the roof, but I just did it here. As long as you do it before you put it on top of your house.
We are going to assemble the roofs and glue them on with our royal icing. And you'll want a big heavy book available. Once I put this down, you're just going to be very generous with the frosting, and then you're going to put a heavy book, and it's ideal to have it sit overnight. If not, you just make sure it's on there until it's secure and strong and the frosting has dried. You don't need to put it on the sides of your house. Okay, I'm going to put a little extra on the top because this is where it's going to touch, and it's going to have gaps in your frosting right here. And here most likely is, even though you fold it to the best of your ability, it's going to have some gaps, and that's okay. I like to place the chimney towards the back. And remember, if you wanted any last minute figurines and anything to decorate inside, you'll want to do that before you seal your roof up. I did that on our big house because it's so fun. The children like to look down the chimney, and right now in this house I've got a baby sleeping, the mouse that ran up the clock, and Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus inside.
Now I'm just hovering over my prepared roof and pushing it down into the frosting, and I'll grab my heavy book to rest it on top and push it down to weigh it down.
And now I'm going to check all my areas, and I'm going to fill it in with frosting to make sure that the house hits the cardboard.
Here's a good picture of the book resting on top of the cardboard, and you can see clearly that I filled in any gaps that may have existed between the cardboard and the actual gingerbread piece. And it's a thick line, be generous with it. And this year was the first year I actually tried to decorate along that line. I put more Skittles along, even though in the past it didn't really matter because you hang beautiful icicles over this ridge. But it added just a little more pop of color, and if you were ever concerned about that being too much of a big globby white line, it solves that problem.
See what it's gonna look like when we turn this on? Look how cute that is. And I positioned all the little Christmas trees facing down.
Now just let that rest overnight or until dry, and you can then start your chimney.
We are here to finish our chimney. Okay, I need to tell you something though. I've got that one almost done in the background over there. I've got chimney done, but I'm set back because I really hope you don't make the same mistake I did. So I tried to make a roof, not one, but 2 times last night. Why? Because I had made a double batch of royal icing. That was about 2 in the afternoon. And then of course mom duties called and I got distracted. I just couldn't get back to it until like 9 at night. The resourceful person in me didn't want to give up the double batch, 2 pounds of powdered sugar I had made, so I tried to use it. Please don't make that mistake. I tried 2 times to make a roof. Both times it failed because your frosting just will be too soft. You need to use a fresh batch of royal icing. So I just made this and we are going to try attempt number 3 on this chimney.
To save time, I am fast forwarding through this, but basically you put a generous bottom layer of frosting with an extra layer on that bottom slope where it starts to slant. and put your first layer of candy. And it should be stiff because your frosting should be new and freshly made. And then I began to do my second layer with Jolly Ranchers. So I first did peppermints, and then the second layer I was determined to try and use Jolly Ranchers because my kids love them and I had never used them on a chimney before. So I did that, but I could tell from the consistency of the frosting and the weight of the candy to not go on ahead. It needed to dry at the second layer before I did my third and final layer of peppermints on the top. And after it's dried a little bit, go ahead and do that last layer and you're ready to go. This is what the final product looked like. Here's two other examples of chimneys. Peppermints are always a favorite candy of mine to use, and gumdrops. I used a jumbo ones this year and I think they turned out great. I will be honest, chimneys can be a little frustrating because you're going against nature. Gravity will take its course and things like to slide down your roof, but just hang in there with it, stay by it, and kind of support it as it starts to dry. And don't try to rush doing your layers. Let them dry before you go on to do more layers. And once you're past this, you got it. You are in the final stretch, and we'll see you on the next segment on how to make that beautiful snow frosting.